Okay, good morning. How many of you born and raised in Murfreesboro? Like you've been here your whole life? Okay, so quite a few of you. For those of you who have been here, what can you tell me has changed in the last 10 years or so?
They're starting to build the second story.
Oh, like here at the school? Okay, but I mean just like in Murfreesboro in general. Well, you tell me, what do you think? What has changed?
The Californians came and ruined the housing market.
Oh, they ruined it. Okay, who else wants to add on to that? What do you guys feel like has changed in Murfreesboro? Gas prices?
How many people there were?
Okay, say that again.
How many people there were?
Okay, who would agree that we've grown big time? Our population has grown. I mean, y'all can't die. I mean, traffic is insane. There are houses going up everywhere. So we have grown, whether it's from the Californians coming in or whoever has decided to move to Murfreesboro. We are growing, and statistically, we are going to continue to do nothing but grow, which is really great for me because I'm in the housing business. So I'm Christine. I work with the Turner Victory team at Parks Real Estate. Have any of you heard of Parks? They used to have the huge, ugly yellow signs, but we've now progressed to navy. It's a little less bold. Okay, nobody's heard of Parks Real Estate?
I have.
Thank you, Ms. Holt. Thank you, Mr. Pace and Ms. Pace. Thank you so much. Okay, so getting started, let's talk about education. So I have a master's in curriculum and instruction and then a bachelor's in interdisciplinary education, which I am no longer using. I taught for 14 years here in Rutherford County at Oakland High School for 3 of those actually, which I don't think I taught any of you. Would y'all, I don't know if you would have any of my kids.
I think your last group that was here.
They graduate this year, yeah. So maybe I'll see some of them. That would be fun. Actually, this is my last year that any kids in Rutherford County I would have taught. It's kind of sad. But to be a real estate agent, y'all, you actually just need your high school diploma or your GED plus your real estate classes. Now, the beauty of a real estate class, which I feel like is really any education now, is you can do it online or you can do in-person classes. So I would say whatever you know about yourself as a learner, if you work better having a teacher in front of you, somebody that's going to hold you accountable, then you can find a place here in town where you can go and take those classes. Or you can go online and knock it out at your own convenience, which is what I did. So for your real estate license, you have to get 60 hours in the national real estate course. And then you need 30 hours that specifically focus on real estate laws in Tennessee. So that's 90 hours total. And then you have to take the big test, which they like to freak you out and tell you that like over 70% of people who take it the first time fail it. But I'm sure you'd all do great. Okay, any questions so far? So with almost any profession that you do, you have to do something called CE, so continued education. Even as teachers, they have to get constant education. They require certain hours, and in real estate, it's no different. You have to have 16 hours, that should not say everything, every other year. 7 of those credits have to be a course in ethics, no matter what, same one over and over again. Oh, you can sit there. Just through that chair, babe. Okay. So the reality is you guys are done in May, right? If you decide you want to be a real estate agent, you could start your courses now, as long as you know that by the time you take your exam, you would have your diploma or your GED. So,
Wait. You go back.
Oh, yes. Sure.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. So, reading and writing. I actually brought some examples. And so I'm going to pass those out first. I'm going to let you guys look at these, and then we'll talk about what kind of reading and writing I'm doing in the real estate world. I don't know if I have enough for every table, so you may have to share a little bit. Okay, so some of you only have a contract right now. Some of you have an actual listing. And after you look at those, if you'll just pass them around. If you don't want to look at them, maybe you could pass them on to somebody else.
So that day that your husband and his friend were with each
Oh, can I borrow that? Because that's a good question. Hey guys, this right here that you're looking at is a contract. Okay, this one specifically is an exclusive buyer contract. This is a contract between me and my client. Okay, some of you are looking at a purchase and sale agreement, which is a contract between a buyer and a seller. Okay, again, once you're done looking at them, check around. This table in the back needs a contract if somebody wants to pass one back there to them. Oh, can I borrow one of those if y'all are done? Oh, y'all got theirs. Y'all want to see one? Yeah.
You wouldn't walk up to him and be like, oh, he weak. But like, but he looks like he can reach out, play with
Remember when a house like that cost $100,000?
Yeah, it's been a while, but yes. Did y'all want to see this listing? What's up? Yes, and I will answer y'all's. I will take questions from everybody though once everybody's looked for a second. Yes, it's under contract right now. We have inspections Friday. Fingers crossed.
$1,500 a square foot. That's pretty daggone good.
Did y'all want to see this? Did y'all get a chance to see a contract?
Sorry, I'm just teaching.
Oh, this is like part of one. Where did it go? Does it go with this right here? I think that goes with it.
This looks like a house.
Are y'all finished?
Yeah.
You still have to do stuff online, right?
What, baby?
Do that online.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
He asked if you got 3% commission.
You get it? Okay. Yes. Well, it's a 6% commission, 3 for me, 3 for the buyer's agent. Yeah.
Were you both?
Hey,
No, I don't really like to do that. Yeah.
somebody can't pay $549,000 for it.
Oh, but somebody is going to. It's under contract.
What's that mean?
Oh, like it has a contract on it. So I'm selling it right now. They're gonna buy it
Oh, for all that?
for all that.
So that's how everybody buys a house. They gotta pay that much.
Oh no, that's a good question. We'll talk about that. Do you want to keep looking at this? You can. Okay, I'm gonna take those back up unless you guys are still looking. Are you still looking? Okay. I'll take them. Thank you. Miss Pace, I keep walking out of the blue thing. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to stay still. Hey, you can keep looking. It's fine. It's totally fine. All right. So guys, quickly, thank you for taking time to look at those. Let's talk about this one right here. This is an actual listing of mine. It's in Nashville right now. We just went under contract this past weekend. This right here is a very small example of writing that you would do. Literally, I just fill out information into a computer program and then it uploads it onto our system that we use called RealTracs. I'm sure there are a handful of you in here who look at houses online maybe anyway. So you already know that there are tons of programs out there that show you these homes. Really, the only real writing I did in here is that public remarks where I put a description of the property, which this one is actually pretty simple. It says this completely renovated property showcases 4 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, all new stainless steel appliances in the kitchen, a versatile flex area, new roof, new windows, and a newly constructed deck, all nestled on a spacious half-acre lot with a stunning yard, perfect for outdoor relaxation and entertainment. Okay, that is not hard writing. But like Matthew was talking about, or I'm sorry, Mr. Pace was talking about earlier, where you want to be clear, concise, and to the point. You don't want these public remark descriptions of a house to be like a 4-paragraph thing. You want it to be quick. You want to highlight all the great things about the property that people would be interested in, and it's going to sell it for your people, okay? You know what really helps with that lately? Anybody? AI. It has like saved my life with property descriptions. Now, you got to check it though, because the other day I put in all my like highlights, all the things I was super excited about, and it spit out this whole thing, and then it was like featuring a modern water heater. Like, that's stupid. That's not a thing. We're not going to describe a water heater as modern, right? So it's important that you still check what they're spitting out, but I will say it has really like helped me, because sometimes I stress out about these property descriptions. So that's one small example. Now, let's talk about the very important things. Contracts. A contract is a legally binding document, right? So this one is a purchase and sell agreement. This is a document that you fill out when you are presenting an offer to a seller. So I'm representing the buyer, right? I'm filling out this contract. It is legally binding. I need to understand what it says and what I'm filling in, because if I mess up, what could essentially happen to me or my people? We could get what? Somebody said it.
Somebody can get fired.
Well, worse than that, I get sued. I could get sued. My people could get sued if I am not educating them on what it is that they're filling out. So, listen, I know some of you are looking at this and you're like, that's so much. It is so much. Now, it's fortunate, guys, that I'm working with the same contracts pretty much every transaction, right? But that doesn't mean that I don't need to understand what it's saying, because when I sit down, what's your name? Dominic. If I sit down and this is my client, I need to be able to explain to Dominic, like, hey, this is what you're signing. Do you feel comfortable with that? Are you confident with what we have placed in this document? So I need a clear enough understanding that I can explain it to you, and then I can explain it to you and you. That way everyone is understanding what we're offering, right? Yes, sir.
Do you record it? Because like if you don't, could the other person like say that you did say it, and then it'll be your word against yours?
Well, if I'm only covering what's in the document, then I don't need to record it because it's all right here, right? And as a professional, I've gone over that with my people. That's a really great question. So I have a handful of other things that my clients sign off on to kind of cover myself in that way. That's a great question. Okay, any other questions about this? Now, as I mentioned earlier, most of the contracts, guys, that you're working with are the same for every transaction, but everything is different. Every transaction could be different, and there are times when I have to use other documents, and I need to be able to read that document for understanding, and then I also need to be able to share with my clients, this is what it means, this is what you're signing, this is what you're promising. So, that would probably be the most stressful part of reading and writing in my job, is the fact that I am literally helping clients fill out contracts and putting them in a legally binding deal. Okay, any questions about that? Now, remember that I'm not a lawyer, and I always make sure my clients understand that, but I am still responsible for educating my clients about what it is that they're dealing with. Okay? So, very quickly, communication. And then I put these 3 things down here at the bottom if y'all want to glance up at that very quickly. It says clients, sphere, and then customers and resources. So I feel like in communication, I'm doing a lot of written communication too, as Mr. Pace was talking about. A lot of my communication, especially with customers, so these are people that I'm not necessarily working for. It could be that I'm communicating with the buyer's agent, that I'm communicating with their lender, that I'm communicating with their title company, okay? But I am communicating with them nonetheless, and typically it's via email. And so I want to make sure that I'm sounding professional, that I'm sounding intelligent, like I know what I'm talking about. And then let's talk about these other two, clients and your sphere. Obviously, clients are whoever's hired me. So whether it's that you've hired me to list your home because you want me to help you sell it, or you've hired me to help you buy a home, communication is key. I am essentially the go-between between every single person that is involved in that transaction, which could be 7 people all at one time. And I'm communicating with everybody. Phone calls, texts, emails. I am constantly the one that's holding all of the pieces together. I really liked how Mr. Pace talked about tone in an email. So when he showed that email that just said, call me, period, 100% that's going to give somebody anxiety. Okay, so in a real estate transaction, there can be a lot of stressful things that happen. For example, last week I had an inspection on a home. I'm the listing agent, so I'm selling this house, and the inspection report was a disaster. Like, they found some really rough things. Did you say black mold? No black mold, but we did find some water damage that was unknown. They determined that the roof was pretty much needs to be replaced. Okay, so these are things that my sellers didn't know about, and they were not expecting for that to happen. That is not a time for me to send a text. I'm not going to text my clients and say, well, y'all, you got to replace the roof and there's water damage. No way. That requires a phone call, and it requires really knowing your clients and how they need this information to be presented to them. I have some clients that I could literally just say, okay, here's the facts. We got to move. We got to figure this out. Not these clients. They are stressed. They have moved, have 2 children. They have other family things going on. I knew this was going to be hard for them to hear. So I feel like, guys, when I'm communicating, my job as a real estate agent is not really selling houses. I mean, it is. Y'all, it is. My job as a real estate agent is to serve my people. I need to know them. I need to understand them so that I know how to create a transaction for them that is going to be positive and smooth and stress-free. I would say of all the skills that I'll talk about, this is the most important one. Like, are you the type of person that can remove yourself from your own wants and what you're comfortable with to serve your clients in a way that's best for them? Like, do you know when it's time to put the phone down and look at them in the eye? Do you know when it's time to make that phone call because a text message isn't going to be good enough? Do you know that maybe even a phone call isn't going to work? You're going to have to go and sit down with them in person because this is going to be really hard information for them to hear. You got to know your people. I spend a lot of time just listening, observing, taking time to really hear what they're saying between all of the stuff that they're spewing out sometimes. I observe a lot, a whole lot, because real estate's huge. I mean, y'all have commented on the price of that home. People aren't paying little dollars for homes. They're paying $500,000 for a house right now. It's a huge transaction. For most people, real estate is the largest investment that they will invest in their entire life. And I get to be a part of that. And so I want to make sure that they feel seen and heard and, well, cared about. And that's communication that takes a lot of work. All right, any questions about this? Okay, so tell me, who knows what I'm talking about when I say sphere? Anybody? Anybody a business person in here? What's my sphere? Sphere of influence, anybody? Why didn't I bring my candy? Should have brought my candy. I'd have them all talking to me, wouldn't I? I know. Okay, so when you own a business, which I do, y'all, I'm a real estate agent. My business is my business. I am a business owner. My sphere of influence are my people. Who am I constantly in contact with that I hope would one day want to use me as a real estate agent? That's my sphere. That doesn't mean my sphere, they may not be selling or buying a house right now, but one day they might want to. And who do I want them to call? I want them to call me. And so I am staying in constant communication with my sphere. We call them touches. Like I'm calling them, I'm texting them, I'm sending mail outs, I'm inviting them to things. And not because I'm trying to sell them something, but because I have something of value to offer for them. I'm a real estate expert, and I would like to be their real estate expert. Okay? Questions about this? All right, so again, just a reminder, a lot of times, and I can remember when my grandmother actually is in real estate as well, she used to tell me all the time, you need to get in real estate, you would love it, you would be so good at it. I'd be like, I'm not a salesperson. I don't like that, it makes my stomach hurt, I'm not here for that. And she would always tell me, real estate is not about sales, it's about people. And so when I was throwing around the idea of leaving education, I was like, I think I could do this because I enjoy working with people. It's something I'm passionate about. And if I have learned anything in the past 3 years, it is that 100% real estate is about people. And guys, let me tell you this too. This is my 3rd year. I am working my first transaction right now with like a bad real estate agent. I've been really fortunate so far to only work with people who are professional and ethical. And this is my first time working with somebody who is very unprofessional and unethical. This real estate agent has tried to like cheat my people and basically bulldog them into things that they don't want. And it has been challenging for me not to be like mama bear and just come out and like, well, be mean, be ugly like she's being. I've really had to rein it in and remember that I'm better than that and that I am professional and that I'm ethical, but it is challenging because you run into people that it is all about the deal. They just want that commission. They just want that commission.
What's she gonna do if you just smack her?
Well, I would never do that. But she'd probably sue me. Oh, we know that's not true though. Hey, but you know what? Instead, I have just killed her with professionalism and kindness. And here's what it comes down to. My people are still going to want to work with me. And there are other agents that are constantly going to work with me. If I see her name on a listing or on another buying contract, what am I going to encourage my people to do? 100% avoid, because it has been a nightmare. So she has dug herself in a hole. It's unfortunate for her. This is a people business. I want people to see my name and think, she takes care of me. Or she took care of my aunt. She took care of my best friend. She took care of my grandmother or whatever. I don't want them to think, oh my gosh, she was so unprofessional and unethical. Yeah, she got me a good deal, but she cheated and lied her way through it. That's not the reputation I want with my name. All right, so all about people. So I could not put time frames to my day because just like Mr. Pace was talking about, I might have the set things that I need to take care of in a day, but sometimes it's all over the place because my job is really managed by my people's schedule. Okay, now I have some things that are untouchable. I have 2 little girls, and so their time is very important to me, and their schedule is, I got to drop them off at school, I got to pick them up, I got to take them to soccer, I got to take them to piano. What did I do? Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, is this on the...
I don't know what this page is.
It's on the 3rd screen.
I'm trying to get it over on that. You might have to help me.
You said you still got those teacher skills.
Apparently not, because I can't get over in the 3rd screen. Oh, wait, there it goes. Here you go. Y'all ready to go through this again? Just one more time. Just kidding. Okay, my day. All right. So one thing that is always the same about my day, I get up and I make sure that my mindset is right, because real estate and any kind of business, when you're a business owner, is all about mindset. Because there are some days that are awesome and you're getting phone calls left and right and your deals are going exactly like you want them to. And there are some days when the phone is not ringing and you haven't closed a deal in 2 months and you haven't gotten paid and nobody's calling you, and your aunt's sister called this other lady down the road to list her house instead of you, and it is heartbreaking. So I make sure I always start my day with quiet time where I pray, I read, I write my affirmations. I have a goal for every quarter, and I focus on those in the morning. So the year is broken up into quarters, okay? And so every quarter I sit back and I look and I decide what my goal is for that quarter. Sometimes I do it yearly, and then I may add an additional goal in there. Then depending on the day, I'll get ready, work out, go to the office. In the office, I'm taking care of any kind of active contracts. I'm reaching out to my people. I'm making my phone calls that I need to make. I'm doing my property reviews that I need to do. I'm having meetings. And then clients. 3, 4, and 5 are constantly changing. Okay? Because sometimes my clients need me first thing, and so we're going to showings, we're doing walkthroughs, we're doing inspections, we're going to pick out granite, we're going to pick, or whatever. Okay? So all of these, 3, 4, and 5 are all interchangeable. It's constantly changing. And honestly, the truth is there are sometimes when client things happen right after I drop my girls off. So all of this is kind of interchangeable. And then I said the last is family. Again, there are times, y'all had spring break last week. My poor girls worked all week long. I drug them around everywhere because I was just super busy, which they don't mind. They're good. But this is what my day looks like. I remember when I first started in real estate, people were like, oh my gosh, you're going to have so much more time now that you're not teaching. And I don't have more time, but my schedule is flexible. Like I control my schedule. If I don't want to do something, I don't have to do it. But keep in mind, I work for people who have a certain schedule. And so if I'm constantly saying, oh, that doesn't work for me. Oh, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. No, I can't do that. I don't work past 5. Like, that limits who wants to work with me, right? Because most people work from what time?
8 to 4.
8 to 4, 8 to 5. So when can they go look at houses?
Around 6.
Around 6. So there are times when I'm working almost every night.
Every night.
Okay?
And the weekends.
And lots of weekends. Lots of weekends.
Hey, that's when everybody off.
Yep. But that's okay because you know what? I get to show up for things like this. I get to make every lunch that my girls have at school. I go on every field trip, every volunteer opportunity I can do. I get to volunteer at Journey Home during the week, which I love.
You go eat with your daughters every lunch?
No, anytime I can. Yeah, they're kind of like strict about showing up at school for lunch now. Anyway, okay, so questions about this or scheduling or anything like that? Yes, Mr. Pace. I appreciate your question. Please, go ahead.
So what would you say, because I know that realtors there's been a lot of danger in the past for realtors, especially having to meet and show houses at night. What would you say your cutoff time is at night since you work a lot of times?
So if I'm meeting my clients, like they're my people who I have a contract with and I know them, I'm working with them, I trust them, then I'll show them a house whenever. Now we're respectful of times, like typically 8 o'clock is a cutoff time for a showing. And there's many houses that 7 o'clock is a cutoff time. Now I will not meet anybody that I don't know for a showing unless somebody else is with me. And so I don't do a lot of cold call leads like that. I don't feel like it's my strength. I like to work with people that I know. Or referrals or things like that. We used to, when I first started, my team would get Zillow leads. So literally a stranger is calling you and saying, can you meet me at this house? Because I want to see it. And so I would, but either my husband would go with me or my uncle who's my team leader, or I would just get another agent on my team to go out there with me because people are crazy. So that's.
A lot of people think that a job is this time to this time and it's over, and there's a lot of careers where it's not over at a certain time.
Right.
I mean, you may be answering emails at 10 o'clock at night. So.
Yes, and I have to draw boundaries because I'm really bad about once the girls are down, I'll sit down with my laptop and it'll be 10:30 and I am still working. So I try to be intentional about putting my phone and my watch away at like 8:30 and just telling myself that I'm done for the night. And sometimes I can do that. And then there are other times, like right now I have 6 active contracts and there are things happening. And so I need to make sure that those things are getting taken care of. So, I know. Yes.
What are the problems you gotta go to if someone break into the house that you're trying to sell?
Okay, well so that's a great question. Let me tell you what happened actually on this listing that I passed around. So it's vacant, it's actually a flip. So I'm working with an investor right now, I'm selling this property for them. They bought this house in October and completely gutted it and redid it, right? So it's a vacant home. Well, what I have, and I should have brought an example of one, but it's a Century Lock. Have any of you ever seen a Century Lock? You have seen one? Okay, well it's like it's like a mini vault. Like you ain't getting into it unless you have access to it. So you have like an app, you have to pay for your membership, or a real estate agent can give you a code, a one-day code to get in there. Most real estate agents have access to Century Locks. Well, I happen to be going through the access log, so I get on my app and I can see everyone who has accessed my Century Lock on this house, and I noticed there was an agent's name, this is the agent I'm dealing with now, who accessed my property and didn't make an appointment. So she helped herself into the property without an appointment, which is completely unprofessional and completely unethical. Like, you don't do that. It takes literally 15 seconds to make an appointment, okay? Because we're a go-and show, meaning as soon as you request it, it's approved. So I did. I stepped back because I was a little angry, and I took a minute, and then I just called her. And I was just like, hey, how are you? Listen, going through my access logs, I saw your name there. Did I miss something? I don't remember seeing an appointment come through for that. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Of all the appointments I made that day, that's the one that didn't work. And I was like, oh, well, let me know what you think about the house. And next time, if you'll just, make sure you make an appointment or whatever. So that's an example. Now, she didn't steal anything, but to me, I think that's similar. Like, you don't go into somebody's house. It's not your house. It's not your house. It's rude. It's so rude. So I've not had anyone break in. If that did happen, we just treat it like any other break-in. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Holt.
What happens if it's a vacant home but it catches on fire?
Okay.
What happens to the listing person?
Okay, that's a great question. So your house that you're listing, it's not always that it's vacant. This one is, but they still have insurance on the home. But let's say that the home is listed and that's under contract and it burns to the ground today. Okay, and so you have these people who have now agreed to buy the home and the home has burned down, then they don't get the home. They would get their earnest money back. So earnest money is like a deposit that you put down when you put an offer on a home that says hey, I'm super serious about this and I'm financially sound and can do this for you. But they would both just be out. They wouldn't get a house, and then my sellers would be out money, honestly. They'd be out quite a bit of money. So, yes.
Is there anything that changes when the house being sold is in a less than reputable area?
What do you mean, anything that changes? Like the way that I would treat the listing? Okay, so location is going to affect pricing of a home. I don't know that I would change anything else about the way that I do my Century Locks or that I present the house or anything like that, because I don't think I get to decide what area is less desirable. I think I have clients who are happy with one area and other clients that would think I would never move there. I don't get to decide that, right? It's up to my people. But please know that location is one thing that affects the home price, and so it could make the home price a little different than if it's in a different area. Okay? Yes.
Could a house price fluctuate if it's vacant or if it's just regular?
Oh, that's a good question. So I don't know that vacancy is going to influence the price, but it could influence desirability. So if people see that the home's vacant and they could move in a little faster, they don't have to worry about working with somebody else's timeline, that makes it a little more desirable. So not necessarily, it's not going to influence the price at all, but again, it could make it more appealing to somebody. That's a really good question. You trying to be a real estate agent?
No, I'm just.
Are you sure? Do you like people? Nah. Yes.
Yeah, I can do.
For example, we had a teacher, I had a teacher, he was a real estate agent last year, and his parents bought a $2 million house. So what would be his, hey, the commission that he would get?
Okay. So that's a great question. So I am paid off commission, which means I don't get paid until something sells, right? Which is the challenge of this job, okay? Because there can sometimes be months that go between closings, okay? Which means you need to be good with money. You need to have some kind of budget, okay? I don't get a commission check and think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go buy all. I don't do that. All goes straight into an account. I know what my monthly budget is, and so I get a chunk of that every month, and that's it. So to answer that question, commissions are actually negotiable. Okay, every brokerage, so for example, my brokerage is Parks Real Estate, and their fee to hire me is 6% of the sales price, okay? 3% of that the listing agent would take. So for example, if I'm the listing agent, I'm selling the home, I would get that. And then I offer the other 3% to the buyer's agent, saying like, thank you for leading and guiding your people through this process and bringing them to us, for you taking care of your end, right? Now, again, that's negotiable. Right now, there is a huge lawsuit that's happening with realtors and buyers' commission. I think some of it has to do with the fact that everybody and their mom is a real estate agent, and not all of them are very great at what they do. And so some sellers are frustrated, like, why do I have to pay your agent? Okay. I am not so worried about that because I feel like I'm really good at what I do. And so I want to take care of my people, and when I have buyers, I want to make sure that I make the process for the sellers as easy as possible. And I think that people would be happy to supplement my fee. So I'm not sure what his percentage of commission was on that. Let's say it was 3%, it would be 3% of $2 million. It'd be a good commission. Yes?
Do you do more selling or buying?
So it depends. In my first year, I listed more homes, okay? Which was great because it was a seller's market, and I'm telling you, I would list it and then 2 days later it'd be under contract, and it was awesome, but it was very unrealistic. That is not how a real estate market works. Last year I represented more buyers, which was nice because it was more of a buyer's market. And then right now I'm even. I've got as many listings as I do buys, so there's not one or the other. You have some agents who only want to list homes. I don't want to do that. I want to work both sides. I think it's fun. Yes?
How many times does it happen that you have buyers who have purchased your listing? Like that you're working with the buyer and they're purchasing something you're listing, so you get this?
Well, I will not do a dual transaction that way because, again, remember, my goal is to serve my people, and I don't understand ethically how I can serve my sellers while also serving my buyers the way that I would want to. So what I would do at that point, and I've had like buyers who are interested in one of my listings, I call up somebody on my team and I say, hey, would you take care of these people for me for a referral? So then they would get that commission, but I would get a big chunk of it because I referred my people to them. So I won't do dual agency. Dual agency means you're representing the buyers and the sellers in the same transaction. There are agents that do it, good for them. I can't wrap my mind around how I do that ethically. Yes?
Do you sell more homes or like commercial properties?
Okay, I don't do commercial real estate. I'm not saying that I never will, but right now it's just not my passion. I'm passionate about residential homes. But there's a great business for commercial real estate. I don't know anything about it because it's a whole different ballgame. Hey, and this brings up a really good point, guys. If you find yourself in real estate, there are so many different avenues that you can go. And when I talk about reading and writing, you're responsible for gathering that knowledge. For example, like I decided I wanted to work with investors. Like I would love to help people find homes to make money on, right? That's a whole different ballgame. I had to research and learn and sign up for classes to learn about real estate investment. Yes.
So you said when you make a sale, you get 3% out of the 6, and then you split it between the buyer and the seller.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to the other 94%?
So that goes to the sellers.
What you mean? Oh wait, so the 6% goes to your company?
Okay, so when you sell a home, so like this home that's being sold right now, right? So let's say the sellers owe $320,000. Okay, it's listed for what, $549? Mm-hmm. They're getting whatever's left after that loan and those fees are paid off would be the like chunk of money. okay, that the sellers would get. I'm just getting 6% of whatever the sales price is. So I don't have my phone. What'd you say?
Like the person whose house it is.
Yes.
Went to you, so they're, that's where that money goes.
Well, the people, the sellers, yeah, the owners of the home. But it's 6% of the purchase price.
Oh, so like the landlord.
Well, the owner, not the landlord. Whoever owns that house. Yeah.
So like it'll be
Okay,
the
let's
landlord.
just say you sold me your phone.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give you money, but you're gonna have to give some time back to she.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if it's $100,000 house, just to make the math easy. They sell the house for $100,000, 6% of that is $6,000. So she gets 3% of that, which is $3,000. And
The other agent
the other
gets
agent
$3,000.
So where's
the money come
Yeah,
from?
no, where's the 94,000 go?
Whoever owns the house.
So the landlord.
The owner, baby. Because a landlord is just running the property, right? A landlord doesn't necessarily mean
You're
that.
not a landlord if you own a house and rent it to somebody?
Oh, yeah, you are. Okay, so landlord, owner, yes. But there are also landlords who don't own the property. Somebody else hired them to run the property. I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
You can